Well, Lachlan Macquarie came from Ulva, which is one of the islands in the north of Scotland, and he was born in 1761. On arrival, Macquarie found quite a difficult situation, and by this proclamation he was reappointing his predecessor to the post of Governor of New South Wales. The condition was that Bligh would resign 24 hours later, and after that Macquarie became the new Governor of New South Wales. What's interesting about his time in office is that he made lots of reforms. Everybody knows it was one of the posts for sending convicts from Britain, and he during his time he tried to change that situation, and when he finished his time as governor, New South Wales had become a blossoming colony. On the 12th of October 1814, Lachlan Macquarie sent this letter to his brother Charles, and in this letter he was announcing some of the reforms he was intending to do, and he was also conveying some of his plans for New South Wales. One of the main aspects, or one of the most significant aspects of his time in government, were the measures he wanted to introduce for convicts. Just to sum things up, what he was planning to do was that what he was intending to do was that after convicts had served their sentences, they would be able to lead normal lives, which means that they wouldn't be prevented from just entering normal life and developing normal activities, or being able to have trades, or to be able to be reinserted in society. And for that he was heavily criticized. And as everybody knows, convicts were a very important part of life and society in Australia for many years, and it was one of the elements which define society in this country. And even today, we still, think of Australia sometimes as, some people associate Australia with a country that originated in the penal institutions that were settled there from the late of the 18th century. This medal we have here commemorates the cessation of convicts' transportation to Tasmania in 1853. The cessation of transportation in different parts of Australia took place at different times. In New South Wales, it officially ceased in 1850, even though that in 1840 the transportation of convicts had been postponed, but it officially ceased in 1850, whereas in Tasmania it happened 3 years later. It wasn't until 1868 that the transportation of convicts ceased in the whole territory of Australia. This is a memorial concerned with the transportation of convicts to New South Wales. It was written in 1829, and it contains much interesting information. In this page here, we can see the land allocated to the different officers who were going to run the colony. What's interesting is not only the numbers of different officers required, but also the amounts received, the land grants received according to the rank. Other useful information contained here appears in these appendices at the very end of the memorial. So in this case, we can see how the organization of the penal institution was arranged, and it contains a description of the different officers and their duties. And this appendix contains an estimate of the expenses, the probable expenses to run the institution. And for example, 1 year's provisions, the estimate amount required to cover that would be £7,364. As well as containing information about the transportation of convicts, what's interesting about this particular book is the descriptions and remarks about the Aboriginal population and the first contact of Westerners with that indigenous population. It contains many illustrations as well as maps. The Sirius arrived in Botany Bay in 1787, but they realized that it wasn't suitable for settlement, so they made out for Port Jackson, which is near what is Sydney today.